Hi, I'm Stijn, and today I'm going to show you how to connect a Clang fabrik with DiGiCo console. In part 1 of this movie, I'm going to mainly talk about connecting all devices together. In part 2, I'm going to go deeper into the DiGiCo integration. So, what do we have? You have a DiGiCo SD12, in this case, a Clang, a laptop containing the Clang app, a Clang fabrik, of course, and a network switch, which is right under there, which you can see. One, audio. How is audio connected? You have the MADI from the DiGiCo going into the Clang and vice versa. That's it. How do we check it? We go on the DiGiCo to the master screen, push setup, go to the audio I/O, and right here you can see that my MADI is connected, and in my case I have labeled it Clang MADI, so nothing is confusing. Second, we need to have all devices talking to each other. So we connect them in a network. How do we do it? We connect the console network of the DiGiCo on the switch, we connect the laptop to the switch, and we connect the Clang control port to the switch. That should theoretically have all devices talking to each other. This will be a good time now to go to your Clang app. Now, what I do first, always when I start a new session, I go to the preset and I go ahead and load the default preset of Clang. I already did that, so I won't be doing that now. Now we press the info screen. What do we see here? On the info screen, we see that there is a Clang fabrik. It has a serial number. It's a name you can change. You see the IP addresses. I chose to have fixed IP addresses. Of course, this can also work on a DHCP environment. Next, we see the CPU load. We see the network packages losses. If this number runs up, that means there's probably something wrong on your settings or on your network, so beware of this number. The power supply is on, and the MADI is ready and locked, and you can see it has 0 errors in and 0 errors out. If errors should run up on a MADI stream, there might be an indication that something is wrong with your MADI clock or MADI cables. So now that we have that, we go to the external control panel of the Clang app. We see a number of things here. We see the app IP. This is actually the IP address that I manually put in from the computer running this app, 1.100. The mode is set to off. The Clang is not active, so we want to leave it like that for now. The console type would be a DiGiCo. You can't choose anything else. Initial master would be the console. You can choose Clang, but in my case, I want the DiGiCo to be the master. So I choose console, because if there's a network that is not working anymore and network fires up, I want the DiGiCo to be the boss and push the settings into the Clang and not the other way around. Very important. And here you have the console IP that we need to put in. I'll just take, it'll be something like that. Now we have to put in the console IP. That will be the DiGiCo IP. Where can we find this IP? Now we go back to the DiGiCo. Now on the master screen, back again, we go to setup, we push external control, and there you have a number of buttons you have to push. So we need to enable external control of the DiGiCo, of course. We push yes, suppress OC retransmit, we don't want any loops. We enable the Clang, and the rest of the things I won't talk about, that would get us too far. We add a Clang device. Now this would ask me for an IP address. Now which IP address is that? That is not actually the Clang fabrik IP address. No, this will be the IP address for the Clang app, which will be the computer. In my case, as you might remember, this right here, you can see it, that will be 1.100. So the app IP of the computer, we put it in there, 1.100. Send, receive, leave untouched, unless you know what you're doing. Enable the Clang app. Now in the bottom there's another interesting thing which I just talked about. This would be the SD12 IP address. This is exactly what we need if we go back to the Clang app. This will be 2.222. Now let's return to the Clang app. We push the console IP. We make it 2.222. Now make sure there's no spacebars added in this field, because that will ruin your network IP. Happened to me before, that's why I'm saying sometimes hard to see. Now, and that's it. And now finally we're ready to push the setup mode, to put the setup mode on in Clang. We push setup and look what happens. Immediately the Clang app sees the DiGiCo console and the session loaded in the DiGiCo right here, and it sees the aux is already labeled on my DiGiCo. So there you have it. Now the DiGiCo is connected to the Clang, everything is seeing each other. And next, in the part 2 of this movie, I will show you, I will go deeper into the integration of the Clang and audio routing of the whole system. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and we'll try to answer them as soon as possible. And be sure to watch part 2 of this movie. Thanks, bye.